For more on this, James Dorsey joins me now live from Singapore. He's a senior fellow at the Middle East Institute there. Welcome to the programme, James. Just help us understand why Washington is calling for the UN Security Council to adopt a resolution backing a ceasefire that we understand it could either be Biden's or Israel, proposed by them. Why not directly to Israel? It seems like there's a lot of theatre going on here.
Well, I don't know if it's so much theater as it is while putting the onus on Hamas, even though both Hamas and Israel have been very conditional in their endorsement of the proposal, but that Biden is trying to outmaneuver Netanyahu at this point. And he's essentially hoping, and it's not clear to us what his strategy is in terms of Netanyahu. With other words, does he want to strengthen him by ensuring that Benny Gantz, the war cabinet member, and probably Gabi Eisenkot, another war cabinet member, stay in the government? Keep in mind that Gantz has given Netanyahu an ultimatum that ends on this forthcoming Saturday, by which he has to produce a plan for the day after in Gaza. Netanyahu's not going to do that. And if he's at all going to respond to it, he's going to do so by postponing and saying, I'm going to discuss things in my address to the U.S. Congress. Or is he trying to force Netanyahu into a cabinet with Gantz, as well as the opposition leader Yair Lapid, which would exclude the ultra-nationalists and the ultra-conservatives? Or is he hoping that Gantz and Eisenkot to resign from the government and either force Netanyahu to form a new government or to resign, or force him into being totally beholden to the ultra-conservatives? So I think there's a strategy here, even though what it looks like is we're putting the onus on Hamas and we're letting Israel go scot-free.
Indeed, and that's what we heard there from the State Department, that the only thing standing between a ceasefire and this war right now was Hamas. Just help us understand also what this US move also means for Netanyahu's political troubles, because he's been very clear, hasn't he? He will not stop until Hamas is eliminated. Why would he change on that point right now? Because he hasn't achieved any of his goals in 8 months.
Let's be clear. I want to make this indeed even-handed, in the sense that Hamas has responded positively to the proposal, but it has said that Israel has to explicitly commit to a permanent ceasefire, knowing that Israel will not do so. On the other hand, Netanyahu's in a bind. He's in a bind because he's being pressured not only by the Israeli or significant segments of the Israeli public, but he's also in a bind because he's being threatened by Gantz. And so from his perspective, the best he can do is buy time. And that's really what he's doing.
Buying time. And the fact that 4 more hostages have been killed, what sort of pressure does that put on Netanyahu right now? Or do you feel that this doesn't shift things?
Well, it puts more pressure on him in the sense that Gantz has made the release of the hostages a priority. The opposition leader has done so. Clearly, the message of 4 more bodies killed in the war, or 4 more Israelis killed in the war, is one that further invigorates the anti-Netanyahu protests. But ultimately, I think the next step in all of this is Saturday. How does Netanyahu respond to Gantz's ultimatum? And is Gantz going to stand by his ultimatum? That's what I think, depending on what happens, that's what potentially could shift Netanyahu's situation and also shape U.S. policy.
Indeed. Saturday's Gantz ultimatum, a very important point you raised there, James, to focus on. Thank you so much, James Dorsey, joining us from Singapore, Senior Fellow at the Middle East Institute there. Really appreciate your time and your insights. Thank you.